Hey, what's going on, Minnesota Viking fans? Welcome to the Purple People Podcast. My name is Kyle Smith. I am joined always by Mr. Kyle West.
Hey, how's it going, sir?
It's going. Off-season, boring stuff, so we're going to make an interesting and goofy show today.
This is my show. I look forward to this show.
Me too.
The good thing is that this is going to be our shortest show ever in Stay Classy, Minnesota.
And the comedic relief, Adam Carlson, here.
Happy to be here.
That's awesome. Yeah, I want to do that legitimately one day. Just do one for like 5 minutes or 30 seconds, 45 seconds or something like that. And then have people be like, hey, the podcast cut out. I'm like, yeah, I know, it's just a spoof.
I'm just glad Mr. West didn't accidentally hit the button to turn it off like out of habit.
Thankfully, they're far enough apart from one another on the screen.
Good.
Yeah.
We've got an interesting and fun show for you, even though it's the beginning of the off season for everyone. This is episode number 289, entitled "The Dundies." This is our award show. So if you guys are tuning in with us, get ready because we've got a nice little stack full of awards and some goofy ones at the end. But as always, before we jump into the fun stuff, we're going to do some quick hits. So the first one and the most notable of the past week, former Eagles quarterback coach John DeFilippo is hired by the Vikings as the new offensive coordinator. I think we talked about it before. It was between him and Kevin Stefanski. Those were seemingly the two front runners. But Vikings.com has already jumped on board and given you some little, social media nuggets to check out. So check those out on the website. You'll get to see all the work that he put in and his dedication to the Eagles last year. And just from that one very small sample size that I saw, it got me fired up because the young guy is very, very hungry and ready to win. So I'm excited. I like the hire.
Yeah, we kind of knew that the writing was on the wall with this one after the Vikings waited so long to interview him. There was definitely the possibility that Stefanski was going to get the job if they weren't able to interview DeFilippo, but as it turns out, they were able to hold on to both since the next quick hit says that the Vikings denied Stefanski from interviewing with the Giants for the team's offensive coordinator position. Odds are, usually in a situation like that, usually when the Vikings deny an interview, it's because they've worked out something with the coach to get them a little bit of extra money or notoriety or whatever to have them stick around. It's usually not a straight-up denial where the coach themselves will want to interview and just gets absolutely shut down. So if that's the case, that's not a great thing. But from what I'm assuming Stefanski wants to stick around for another year and then maybe go join the Giants or another team as an offensive coordinator. But I still think it's strange that a jump from quarterback's coach to offensive coordinator is considered a lateral move in the NFL when an offensive coordinator has so much more responsibility. Still, there are those things in the NFL that I'll just never really understand.
Yeah, there's lots of stuff like that I really don't understand, and I'm not going to try to understand it. I've listened to a little bit of the new coordinator when he talked to the media, and I liked a lot of what he had to say, particularly the part where he was talking about how he doesn't want to come in and implement, this is my system and we're going to toss everything out, because I was worried about that. I don't think that that's the way that you should go about, approaching this team. He talked a lot about how I want to see what the Minnesota Vikings are good at doing and what the players are comfortable with doing. And he talked about part of the success with Nick Foles is they talked with him as a staff about how, hey, what can you run well? What are you comfortable doing? We're going to do that. And that is kind of what he was talking about doing with the Vikings. And I like that. I think that that is a really smart way to approach this team, because we had success last year, and I don't see why we should throw everything that we've done away and start over from scratch. I think that that would be a setback.
He's gone on record, too, as saying how much he loves Dalvin Cook and how he thinks he can get him involved in really good and creative ways, which is fun considering the Vikings have always kind of been a team that really enjoys setting the tone with the running game. But Dalvin Cook gives you those extra dimensions at running back where you can, run outside, you can run inside, you can use him in the passing game. He's a good enough blocker where you don't got to take him out. And I'm excited to see what he can do with Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, he was pretty good. Just to add a little bit to that, I agree with you with Kyle here talking about how he said, I think a lot of guys are going to say that, but I felt like when he delivered it, he truly meant it about not changing the stuff that works, which is kind of common sense if you ask me. And the other thing that I really liked was, I just lost my train of thought. We'll get back to it for Dave Filippo. I'm so sorry about that.
I'll jump in really quick and say that we have had coordinators, in my opinion, that have been system guys. I think Norv Turner wanted to run his system. I'll be damned if we have the personnel to do it. I think Bill Musgrave also fell into that trap.
Leslie Frazier likes his systems.
Yeah, they like their systems, and they didn't run based on the talent and what the talent was good at doing. And I think that the success that we had underneath Pat Shurmur and Mike Zimmer is looking at the talent, and Zimmer runs his defense, don't get me wrong, but he also does a good job of looking at talent and finding out how he can best utilize them and not get stuck with, the Norv Turner, this is my system, we have to run my system. I'll be damned if the players are actually good at doing it.
Let's keep moving along for a little bit now. The Vikings have signed guard center Josh Andrews. Andrews was a member of the Philadelphia Eagles practice squad at the end of the season. He got himself a nice Super Bowl ring for that. It is interesting that he came over pretty much immediately after the Vikings found their new offensive coordinator from Philly, meaning that maybe this is a player that DeFilippo saw a lot of potential in, or maybe just someone that he believes in. I don't know. But to me, it's always great to have so much depth at guard center, especially when Joe Berger might not be coming back. And they've also got the left guard positions up for grabs as well, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. You can never have too much depth at that position, Adam.
Absolutely. Especially when you got a versatile player that can play multiple positions. But It is interesting that this is one of the first years where you've seen players on the practice squad getting poached by a futures contract. You don't see that very often.
Not for the Vikings. In previous years, it's always been, we poached the practice squad players that are the first to get released from the Patriots or the other teams in the top of the NFL.
Yeah, this was taken right from their practice squad. So definitely interesting.
Raise your hand if you know nothing about him.
That would be me.
Right here. Cool.
If I hadn't written the article over on the Viking Age, I probably wouldn't know much either.
That's why you should check out the Viking Age for all your Viking updates.
Yeah.
Cheap plug.
Click on the ads for Adam while you're there, too.
Oh, my God. I'm so excited to talk about this one.
You and your quick hit.
Stefan, I didn't put this in here, by the way. I think Kyle added this one for me. So this
you
is
betcha, of course.
Because it's the off season and we have nothing to talk about, so let's make controversy and drama. Stefan Diggs is now following free agent or soon-to-be free agent quarterback Kirk Cousins on Twitter. Bye-bye.
I love that.
It's coming. It's coming. Get ready for the Kirk train, guys.
Kirk
I
train is rolling
I highly
into
doubt
town.
it's going to happen. I just like stirring the pot and ruffling the waters, but it was pretty funny.
That's so funny. I love the fact that we can report on a player following another player on Twitter like it actually means anything or is important.
Right.
It's
As
not,
they say
on
the lovely Lebitard show, this is total gas bagging as far as the sports show goes. And I will be
Totally.
for that, and I embraced it fully. But I found these the other day, and I wanted to share them with you guys. I'll steal this one because I thought this was a really interesting one.
This is some good stuff. This is good stuff.
Yeah, it breaks things down in a little bit less than just top 10 by stats or whatever. You kind of get more specific here in these next couple of quick hits we had. But on NFL.com, we have our Stefan Diggs ranked as the #1 wide receiver in the NFL for tight window receivers. Next Generation Stats defines a tight window as a throw where the intended receiver has less than a yard of separation from the defender. and then the quick hit says, so run faster, Diggs. I like that. But yeah, I think he was over 60% or right at 60%, which was well above and beyond anyone else. And surprisingly underneath him was not Antonio Brown. So just in terms of ball placement, which you got to give Case Keenum credit for, even though he did catch a touchdown or two from Sam Bradford in the first game. Case Keenum putting the ball where it needs to be, and Stefan Diggs just comes down with it most of the time. It's pretty sweet. And spoiler alert, you might see Stefan Diggs in my awards later today.
And Case Keenum had an adjusted completion percentage of 76.5% last season, which made him second among the free agent quarterbacks, only to Drew Brees, who will likely not come close to reaching free agency. And interestingly enough, the player behind Case Keenum, as far as free agent quarterbacks' adjusted completion percentage, is Josh McCown, who tied Case Keenum. And that he's one of those guys that I would love to see the Vikings take a look at as a backup if he doesn't land a starting gig.
Hey, I'm all aboard that. All aboard that.
He would fit that veteran backup role that the Vikings like.
He's got the accuracy, man.
Yeah.
Way more accurate than Kirk Cousins.
Sean
there it is.
And consistent
like
as well.
That Sean Hill backup role, I could see them doing that.
Oh, man, now you just called Josh McCown old.
He is old.
That's fair.
Who does he follow?
Like my age.
Let's find that. Somebody in the chat, find out who Josh McCown follows on social media, please. Thank you. Case Keenum was ranked as the number 3 quarterback in the NFL for tight throw windows. And then yet again, get some separations, Vikings receivers. What I really liked about Case this year, which a lot of you guys heard me talk about in multiple shows, was his ability to step up in the pocket or move around outside the pocket. And then he did a lot of throwing on the run. And I believe as far as at least for towards the end of the season, I know after the middle and towards the end, he was like the number 1 quarterback outside the pocket and getting pressured. He was one of the top, if not the top. Now, obviously, if Aaron Rodgers was healthy, he would probably steal that crown. But number 3 overall for tight throw quarterbacks. And this is a guy who in the last couple of years, he was kind of just like, he was good in college. And then he just comes out of this year and just has one of the greatest careers as a Vikings quarterback that we've ever seen. So that was pretty cool. I was glad to see him get some love on the quarterback side of things.
For sure.
And last but not least, speaking of Keenum and transitioning from Diggs to Thielen, Case Keenum and Adam Thielen ranked as the NFL's 4th best overall quarterback and wide receiver combination. So
pretty good.
Which is kind of amazing when you think that Case Keenum was making $2 million and Adam Thielen signed a very team-friendly deal that people thought was a little bit too much money for him, a couple off seasons ago. So, it's everything's kind of coming up Vikings a little bit. The future's looking good.
I hope it keeps rolling the way it was. This was a great year. And speaking of having a great year, we're going to jump right in because the main topic of this show is the awards, and we're going to talk about this season in depth, in full, and we've got almost 10 awards here, probably more than that. So you guys want to get this award show rolling, we can start now.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Let's start with MVP. I gave mine to Case Keenum. I thought that he filled in incredibly well for the Vikings. A lot of fans, myself included, were worried when Bradford went down after week 1 that the season was just going to be over, and Case Keenum was able to step in and play above expectations. He played incredible football for this team. And I think without Case Keenum, sure, you could ride the defense and you'd get some wins here and there, but I don't think we would have made it as far as what we did. I think his play really was the most valuable play for this team.
For me, this was one of the easiest awards to give away because no player for the Vikings played at a higher level this year than Harrison Smith. Harrison Smith was one of the consistent forces in that defense. Quarterbacks wouldn't pass at him. Receivers got scared when they were in his vicinity. Even when he wasn't making plays, he was making an impact. Harrison Smith all the way.
I hate that we were probably going to pick the same person, but I'm going with Tremaine Brock. I'm just kidding.
I have an award for him.
Yeah, I know that one's coming up shortly. I gave mine to Case Keenum as well. I really wanted to give it to Harrison Smith. The defense as a whole played outstanding. The offense was such a leap forward from last year. But if Bradford goes down and we don't have anyone but maybe Kyle Sloter, because Teddy wasn't healthy yet, and he was on a very, very, very tiny sample size, not good in the Cincy game, we wouldn't be where we're at. And 22 touchdowns to 7 picks, pretty damn good ratio. And I just have to give it to Case Keenum. Like I said just 5 minutes ago, but up to this point in his career before he joined us, he was just a journeyman kind of, which team am I going to be the backup on next year? And that's what he was for us starting. And then, dude, he took that opportunity and absolutely balled the hell out. So I gave mine to Case Keenum. Sorry to double tap, but we're probably going to have a couple of the same ones.
It's going to happen sometimes.
This one's going to be interesting, and I hope we all three have different ones because I didn't pick the one that I think a lot of people would pick in the public, but game of the year. For me, I'll start it off. I think the biggest statement game, I really, really wanted to pick the game against the Rams where they only scored a touchdown, and we just flattened them after that. But I went with the game the week after. On the road, facing the reigning NFC champions in their own stadium, we did not allow the Atlanta Falcons to score a touchdown. We outplayed the reigning NFC champs in their own building. That, to me, was the most impressive game of the year.
Yeah, did not allow a touchdown to Atlanta, right?
3 field goals.
That's crazy. I'm going to go with my biased opinion again because it's always seems to leak its way in there. I'm going to pick the September 24th game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Ooh, such a good one.
Not only was it entertaining, we got to see a lot of Dalvin Cook in that game. I believe it was Dalvin Cook's first NFL touchdown happened in that game. I got to go with my buddy, and we sat in a really awesome seats and got to watch the game in person. Sat next to some Tampa fans who were really good sports, and it was just a lot of fun all around. So for me, I know it was kind of a weird choice, but that Tampa Bay game gets my nod.
It's just fun. We all three have different games, and all three of us picked ones that are maybe not what you would expect us to pick for Game of the Year. I went with the Week 1 Vikings-Saints matchup. I thought that was an amazing start to the season for the Vikings. Sam Bradford had 346 yards. Dalvin Cook, the first opportunity we get to see him, had 127 yards rushing. Adam Thielen had 157 yards receiving. That was the big storyline, the season opener. Adrian Peterson was a Saint coming in, playing against the Vikings for the first time in his career. That was just a fun matchup and a good way to start the season. And, New Orleans is one of those teams that with, playing against Drew Brees, if you can beat them, that you have a good team. And the Vikings were able to win 29-19 in that first matchup. I thought that was just an amazing start to the season.
Those are good choices for you guys.
Yeah.
I thought about that one too, Kyle. I really enjoyed that game. I was pretty nervous starting out because the Saints have had our number for a while, but
they're always tough to play against. Always tough.
Always, for some reason.
We do have someone in the chat saying that Dalvin Cook scored in Week 1 against the Saints, and I had to double check and make sure that he absolutely did not. But yeah, he did not score his first touchdown until Week 3 when he ran a touchdown in against Tampa. So just wanted to double check that.
Which is crazy because he had 127 yards rushing in that first performance.
Yep, 127 yards rushing, 5 targets, 3 catches. He definitely. I believe he had one called back in that game, if I remember correctly. But his first official touchdown came in Week 3.
I think you're right. That's people talking about that. Fire Breathers talking about that in the chat too. Man, I'm excited to see Dalvin Cook suit up next year for the Vikings.
Absolutely.
He's an exciting player. Let's go on to our play of the year. Obvious choices, obvious for me.
Yeah, we're all picking the same one here, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can't pick anything other than. So
the Stephon Diggs Minneapolis Miracle. You guys, you've probably heard of this play a little bit. You may have seen highlights of it.
Okay, I have a question with this now, and it just came to mind. Now, this is going to be hard to weigh in, but let's take out all playoff implications and specifically on play alone. Now, you can keep it as, okay, it'll win you the game. Cool. Was this as good or better than the Favre to Greg Lewis pass against the 49ers?
Oh, it's definitely better.
I would say better because we've seen passes like Favre to Greg Lewis in the back of the end zone before. You'll see them like that again. This catch by Stephon Diggs is just so much had to go right for the Vikings and wrong for the Saints.
And it was postseason. Time was out.
That's what I was trying to get that off because I know that's kind of the weight factor there. Because I can't think of any other play minus Favre to Lewis or this one in between. Maybe when AP broke 2,000 yards, that was a pretty significant play. But I can't think of anything since Brett Favre to Greg Lewis that's been this exciting until that play happened this year. It's almost 10 years, guys.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think.
I think it's best play in Minnesota Vikings history.
That's bold. I like it.
I mean, there's some important ones, but that one, if it's not one, it's two or three.
It's definitely one of the top for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely. So most improved. I'm interested to see who you guys chose on this one. I'll let you guys go first so we can keep bouncing around.
I'll start it out. I picked Trey Waynes, who I thought was continuing to show improvement each and every season, each and every game for the Vikings. I really like the combination of having him and Xavier Rhodes out there. My headphones fell out, so I'll let you guys continue.
I have two choices that I was going to make for this, one on offense, one on defense, but I think I'm going to go offense, and I really like to see the evolution that I saw from David Morgan this year. Yeah. He got more involved in the passing game. He showed just how much of a beast he can be when blocking. He's turning into this player that you can rely on in almost any situation, and that is what I saw when they drafted him. And they're starting to use him a little bit more that way, and I'm hoping this new offensive coordinator sees the same thing.
Nice. We all have three different answers. I went defensive, and I liked what I saw from Mackenzie Alexander. I don't
Good
think
choice.
That was my other choice.
I had thought about giving one to him too.
See, like we're all geniuses here at the Pro Heel Podcast. You guys know. No, I liked him because. Like you said, kind of the Trey Waynes factor, except he was a year later. I don't think he's full-fledged earned his right as a starter, but I don't think he's as a liability as we had more worries about in previous years. And going through some of the big highlight plays, he was in a lot of them doing my my recap and my study for this podcast today. A couple of good pass defenses, got an interception or two this year, so he's making his way right along and living up to his value for the second-round pick. So.
We were all so concerned about losing Captain Munnerlyn.
Yep.
Yeah.
And honestly, while there still probably was a tiny drop-off, I don't think it was as noticeable or as worrisome as many of us thought it was going to be.
Right. Turns out Mike Zimmer knows how to coach an NFL defense better than I do.
Weird.
Who'd have guessed? Scott Swab in the chat says most improved from last season has to go to Anthony Barr. Remember when we were all pissed? This season made him a Pro Bowl caliber player.
It's weird how that happens in contract years, you know?
And when he's not playing all year hurt. I mean, when you're healthy,
that's true,
or healthy-ish, and you're out there doing your thing, you can make a lot more of an impact. And Barr would have been a good choice for this.
Ooh, is this consensus across the board? This award here, I feel like it might be rookie of the year. I picked Pat Elflein, and the only reason is because Dalvin Cook was only with us for 4 games. Another thing too, and Adam, I love to give you shout outs when we talk about the line. Watching those big play highlights and watching Pat Elflein truck his big ass down the field and just house people. You know, when Adam Thielen gets set up or Diggs gets set up for a screen or Jerick McKinnon. And then next thing you know, I was like, God, that's Pat Elflein. And
he's a high effort player, man.
Running people over. And I get it. He's not been in the league for 10 years like a Berger or somebody who's older, but man, he's athletic. And a lot of the times when I watch the pocket kind of do its thing, and it doesn't matter if it's on a pass play or if they're blocking for the run, the penetration up the middle was just so good. So I love Pat Elflein. I'm really excited in that pick.
Anyone disagree with that one?
Nope. I wish we could have got a larger sample size from Dalvin Cook. But
I think we could have had a different answer there if Cook would have stayed healthy and been able to play all year. But because of that, even Elflein deserves it based on his own merits. But I think he would have gotten a pretty good run for his money.
Absolutely. Man, I feel like this would be consensus too. Some of these are going to be
maybe not. I'm curious where you guys went with offensive MVP.
Adam, who'd you get to?
Adam Thielen.
Ooh.
Without a doubt. First 1,000-yard receiver for the Vikings in a long time. Clutch player in situations. Played through with fractures in his back. Adam Thielen.
I think we're going to have 3 different answers here. Smith, you can go next.
I picked Adam Thielen.
Ooh.
I wanted to go with Stephon Diggs, but I had to give it to Thielen for what Adam had spoken about. I think if Diggs would have played every game, that would have been a deciding factor because he had a lot of he had a lot of great improvements as far as touchdown in the red zone goes. So it was really hard. But Adam Thielen, what do you have, like 1,200 plus yards?
Yeah, he had a great year.
Yeah, it's hard to pick against him.
He had probably every escalator you could get on his contract.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I went with left tackle Riley Reef. I thought that the Vikings had they have had such a difficult time with that left tackle position. Matt Khalil failed miserably for the Vikings.
When you said that, all I could think of were those 2 games with Bridgewater against the Broncos and the Cardinals where we lost the game on the last play.
Yeah. And I really felt that Riley Reef not only came in and played well, but he played exceptionally for the Vikings. He was a rock out there at left tackle. And that is a reason why you have success from Case Keenum. That's a reason why you have success in the ground game, is because of that solid play on the offensive line. I'm talking about Riley Reef and Pat Elflein just being 2 really solid players out there for this unit.
Absolutely.
Man, Kyle West coming in with the offensive line love. This is such a good show. This is the best Vikings podcast ever.
I thought Adam's usually the one that would have picked the left tackle.
I know. Adam doesn't love the O-line anymore. That's what it is.
Actually, I believe last week when we were talking about our offensive MVPs, I threw some love Riley's way.
I think so.
Yeah, that's true. Just kidding. Gas bagging again.
Got to get that love all over the place. Spread it around.
Like butter.
It is Valentine's Day. You got to spread that love.
I'm going to try not to do anything dirty joke-wise now.
Valentine's
Day.
Interesting question in the chat really quick. Do you think the O-line play is sustainable, or was it just an outliner? I really think that we have a good offensive line that will continue to get better. We're going to add more pieces to it. I think that this is the play that they are going to be going for the foreseeable future. I don't think it was just a 1-year wonder.
I'm scared as hell with the offensive line going forward. Nick Easton, Joe Berger, both free agents. Mike Remmers, who knows what's going on with him? Is he a guard? Is he a tackle? Who knows? At least they got a left tackle and a center for now. I mean, everything else is just kind of question marks.
Nah, they'll figure it out. They're fine.
I think after that national raping of us against the Eagles on national television, I think they're going to go back with Mike Remmers at right tackle. I
don't know if Remmers was dealing with an injury and they wanted to move him inside because he wasn't being as mobile or what the issue was, but whatever that was towards the end of the season, I don't want to see that ever again on the offensive line.
It was bad, but I'm with Adam only. I'm going to add and assume that Mike Remmers is going to go back to right tackle because he's clearly better than Rashad Hill, and that's not a shot at Rashad Hill because he did have a couple of games.
No, Rashad Hill's a great backup rotational tackle. I am very confident in him if he has to come in.
I like where it's going forward because I think we got a little younger, and I love the total transformation from the year prior going to this one. And I agree with Kyle as well. I think that's part of the place we're going to attack in the draft, and I don't really see anything other than the offensive line getting addressed in the first round. That's just my opinion. But I like where we're going because I think we got younger, and with the money that we threw at both of these tackles, I don't think they're going anywhere for at least the next year or two. So,
yeah, the Vikings will have to look into the Joe Berger situation, the Nick Easton situation, evaluate what they have there, and see what they want to do going forward. Because, like you, I want to see Mike Remmers at tackle because that's what they paid him to do.
Mm-hmm.
And if they need to bring back Berger to hold over for another year, that's fine. Nick Easton should be a guy they want to bring back.
I think they will. I think they can get that done.
But yeah, until then, I'm concerned.
Damn it. The mood just changed on the podcast. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, is this consensus across the board? Because I have a feeling that it is. I picked Harrison Smith.
Yep, Harrison Smith, defensive MVP.
I picked Xavier Rhodes.
Okay.
Interesting.
I think he's a good shutdown. I think he's a great shutdown corner. I think that he's a big part of what allows our defense to run the way it does. It's like you can put him on the other team's number one wide receiver and not really have to worry about it. Like he can take care of that guy, and then you can play the rest of your defense as needed. I think that's really important.
You know what? I had an argument, and this is kind of like the guy every year at New Year's who says he's going to go to the gym and change his life, and he never does. I always say I'm never going to argue with idiots on the internet, and it always happens when they talk about the Vikings.
Flat Earth people.
Oh God, I can't deal with dumb people.
Trash talk groups, man. Join them all.
No,
No,
it was on
please
Instagram.
don't add me to them.
Somebody said that he was a shutdown corner, and somebody said, LOL. Well, what happened against Marvin Jones? Worst game of the year in Detroit against Marvin Jones. Had a great game against Xavier Rhodes. Lots of catches and a touchdown. But then I think about
good players have bad games, man. It happens.
Yeah, he had the game-winning interception to seal it. It was a touchdown away from Detroit tying and making a run, which Matt Stafford's known for. And I'm thinking, did you not see what happened at the end of the game? I mean, he shut Antonio Brown and Mike Evans and all these name guys, AJ Green, and you're gonna base it off of one game. I always like to come back to that because I don't know.
There were times that Deion Sanders would get burned. It happens.
Richard Sherman got burned plenty.
Yeah.
Darrelle Revis, his island got invaded.
Yeah,
I was gonna say Randy Moss over top of Darrelle Revis.
Oh God! Yeah, that was in Revis's prime too.
Yeah,
that's cool though. I like that. There was a different thought there. I would have went with probably Linval Joseph next on the MVP side, but Harrison Smith having the highest rated season that safety's had since Pro Football Focus has been in existence, and the fact that he got one vote for defensive MVP and they just handed it to Aaron Donald, I don't know. I think it should at least have been a little bit more of a conversation, but oh well. Maybe next year.
What can you do?
This one's going to be interesting, and I'd love to hear what everyone in the chat has to say. Donkey of the Year.
Oh, this is one that we always hate giving away because we feel bad.
Nope, I don't feel bad at all. And this is going to be my bold statement tied into the Donkey of the Year.
It's Tremaine Brock, isn't it?
Not for me.
Mine's Tremaine Brock.
I'm 50-50 right now. I don't know which name's going to come out of my mouth.
Say both. We'll see if I picked it.
All right, I'll go with Michael Floyd.
Oh, no, but that is the position, that group that I'm going with. I'm going Laquan Treadwell. My donkey of the year is Laquan Treadwell. Also, with the bold statement, I think we need to shop him and go after a big name free agent of some sort. I've seen enough, and I don't want to deal with that anymore. If we can keep signing Jarius Wright, we have 3 capable wide receivers and 2 great tight ends. Laquan Treadwell is a bust, guys.
I was 50-50 on Tremaine Brock, Michael Floyd. But Michael Floyd getting so many reps and ending up only getting 17 targets, catching only 10 of them, just blows my mind. Postseason comes up, he gets 1 target, and it's for a touchdown, and it just does not work. I believe it was a drop.
I don't know.
And
I can't remember.
That whole situation with former first-round draft pick trying to earn his way back, wanted to be a big-name player again.
Home state talent, right?
Yeah, there was so much hype surrounding it that you wanted him to succeed so badly, and then he took the field, and it's like, oh, come on. What's going on here? And things just didn't work out the way you wanted them to. Like you were talking about with Treadwell, I don't know if he's going to be here next year. I don't know if the Vikings will want him around. They should, I believe. I still think he has talent. And I think that maybe a new system might be a little bit better for him. I don't know. But based on what I saw this year, I do want to see more from Michael Floyd, but I want to see better from Michael Floyd too.
I have to give my 2 cents on that. That's very well put about Michael Floyd. I have to give my 2 cents on Laquan Treadwell. You're getting outperformed, and I know it's only your second year, by a 5th rounder and an undrafted free agent who are smaller than you. I don't know what else to say, and he came from the SEC, I believe. He came from the biggest conference in football. I don't understand what doesn't click in Laquan Treadwell's head, and it's kind of a smack on the wrist for Rick Spielman too. I felt like he got pressured into picking a wide receiver that year, which I don't know why. A lot of the wide receivers from that first round that year haven't done really well. But, man, he's an afterthought with this team. When I think of wide receivers from Vikings, I think of Thielen and Diggs. I don't think of any way, shape, or form.
And when you think of the third, you think of Jarius Wright because he's so clutch on those thirds.
Yeah, for sure.
I say you shop Laquan Treadwell, try to get a 3rd or a 4th, and move on. That's my bold statement of the week, too.
I think you got to give him at least another season. You got a new coordinator who's supposed to be another really smart guy who can maximize talent. You see what he can do. You see if you can fix him. But at some point, you almost think that you're wasting reps on the guy
I do, because between Bradford and Keenum, there were 47 or 20 and 20. Yeah, 42 touchdowns between Bradford and Keenum in 2 seasons. And I think he get one of them maybe?
Yeah.
Or did he score one touchdown out of those? What?
Floyd didn't get any, so I don't know.
I can't remember because it's just non-existent on the field. I don't get it. So
I do want to disagree with Scott Schwab in the chat here, though, who picked Kevin McDermott for injuring his shoulder.
Give it to Sam Bradford, too, for not being the MVP this year. Damn it.
But I do like that David Morgan was able to fill in as the backup long snapper till they brought in a free agent. It was kind of interesting that I didn't see a whole lot of drop-off either with all the special teams shifting around there when long snapper went down. It was kind of refreshing in some ways.
Mm-hmm.
Firebreather says Treadwell hasn't gotten a touchdown at all.
I believe it. I thought he had only one on his record, but because
for some reason I thought he had caught one during his career, but maybe he is still at 0. Maybe we're thinking of some preseason game that he found some pay dirt.
So glad I didn't waste money on that jersey. I was super pumped that we got him too.
Don't buy rookie.
Don't buy Moritz Boringer jerseys.
I was gonna buy a Dalvin Cook one. You guys know that story. I got a Dalvin Cook shirt, and then he went down. So I'm done. I'm done getting jerseys.
That seems like it would still be a valid purchase. You buy a Dalvin Cook jersey, I think he's got a good future coming. But if you're gonna buy a jersey, man, get that Diggs or Thielen jersey first.
Yeah, I definitely agree that you should get an established player's jersey. I've got a Teddy Bridgewater in my closet where I'm not sure if I'm ever going to get to wear it again.
Me too.
The positive thing is that I will always be able to wear my John Carlson jersey.
That's incredible, and the best purchase you've ever made jersey-wise.
And Brock Lesnar.
Yep.
Yes,
I'm just going to get one of the Hall of Famer. Now that Randy Moss is a Hall of Famer, or John Randall's my favorite Viking, I'll just get one of theirs. So
there you go.
Literally can't go wrong with it. So whatever. We're freaking babbling now and just going on and on. Okay, going away from the Minneapolis Miracle for the next one, Offensive Play of the Year. I did not choose the Miracle because I didn't want to do the same thing twice. So I had to watch all the touchdowns that the Vikings had. And I know they did replays of them, some in slow-mo, but that's how you know we took a leap forward from the year before, because it was like 15-plus minutes long of all the all the touchdowns that we scored of the year. Sorry, not offensive. All the touchdowns. And my Offensive Play of the Year was that huge vertical that Mr. Carlson got to see in person of Stephon Diggs jumping over Vernon Hargreaves against Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Holy crap. It was hard not to pick Diggs because he had some crazy good touchdowns this year, but that was my favorite offensive play after watching every touchdown that we scored right before the show.
I picked the Miracle, so I can't pick nothing else.
I doubled up and picked the Miracle as well, too.
Okay.
But I appreciate you going somewhere else with it.
I wanted to try something different because I figured it would probably be the same thing. And then after that point, I kind of figured we were all going to pick Harrison Smith and maybe Adam Thielen. I was like, all right, we got to spice this up a little bit.
It's nice to have a little bit of variety, even if it's not your number one choice. That get a little bit more representation on there. Spread the love, man. Spread the love.
Valentine's Day, you got to spread the love. Defensive Play of the Year. What you guys got?
I have Andrew Sendejo in the game against the Saints when he was able to make that little move on Drew Brees, bite him into throwing a pass, and then sky up and grab the football out of the air. What
about you, Mr. West?
I picked Anthony Barr's hit to Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, come on, man.
Such poor taste.
That's cold, man. That's cold.
Such poor taste.
Oh, where's the class, man? Where's the class?
He's just driving that knife into the Packer fans to this podcast.
You
don't want to turn those Packer fans into Eagles fans now. Come on.
I picked Kendrick's pick six against the Bengals because he knew he was going to score a touchdown, and he did this cocky little leap and tuck. That was great. Just proving my point that Andy Dalton, a.k.a. the beige water pistol, is not that good. So
in the chat here, we've got Eric Spencer who chose Harrison Smith's one-handed interception, which was very nice.
That's a good one, too. I'll tell you my backup, since Adam was kind of torn earlier between two players. My backup defensive play of the year was the under the nuts / butt interception from Terrence Newman.
I wrote a whole article on that play. I loved that one.
never seen that before in my entire life, and he's going to be 40, ladies and gentlemen.
Absolutely.
So after Defensive Play of the Year, we have host awards, and I have 3. So I picked out things that I really enjoyed, but I'll let you guys go first.
I didn't pick out any, so have at her.
Kyle West, what other extra awards would you like to hand out this year? If he's still there.
I think his headset fell out again, so you might as well go.
It froze up, so I don't know what you just said.
Oh, I said for the host awards, now that we're at the very end, Adam doesn't have any, so what would you like to add as far as your awards for the year?
Okay. I've got 4 of them. I'll just do my 4, then you can do your 3. And
sounds good.
Yeah. So I did Vested Veteran Award to a veteran on the team that I felt was really important to the success, and that went to Terrence Newman, who is old as dirt and still playing at a high level.
You started that one out so nice and so respectful, and then it just...
Hey, it was either going to go to Terrence Newman or Joe Berger, one of the two.
Yeah.
Because he's old as dirt.
He's old as dirt and still playing very good football for this team. Overhyped story of this offseason that will not happen. This is the thing that everyone on social media is going to be like, blah, 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 the Vikings should sign Drew Brees. That's not going to happen, so we can just put that one to bed and not talk about it anymore. Not going to happen.
So what about Kirk Cousins? Is that going to happen?
Oh, it's definitely happening. Kirk Cousins is the franchise quarterback of the future. You guys know this already.
That one at least has some kind of like realm of possibility to it.
He's going to be in Denver, man. He's going to be in Denver.
He's going to be somewhere. He's not going to be with the Vikings because we're not going to overpay, and we're going to go with Teddy Bridgewater and probably franchise tag Case Keenum. And if you guys didn't hear, it's been on Instagram, and I can't confirm a source because I can't confirm that it's 1,000% true. This is just a gas bag episode of the year. But there were rumors floating around that Teddy Bridgewater was going to get a short-term deal. I know Bill Barnwell, which I like a lot of his stuff from ESPN. He's saying that the Vikings should, if they don't go after Kirk Cousins, they should franchise Case Keenum. So that's the latest on the quarterback rumor mill. If you guys
Scott Schwab says Kirk Cousins to the Cardinals, which makes sense too.
It does make sense.
Except I like Kirk Cousins going to Buffalo.
Yeah, they got a strong running game and a good defense.
Cousins plays very well in cold weather.
Those all 3 wouldn't be bad, actually. They both have great defenses. They've got some good players on defense in Arizona. I don't know. I don't care. I'm only joking when I talk
they could always go with Nathan Peterman, right?
Yes.
They drafted him. How'd you like to have that on your resume?
Then Minnesota can pick up Nathan Peterman when they cut him to back up. I mean, it makes sense.
Oh,
yeah, for sure.
Whoa.
I got 2 more here, then I'll pass it off to you. I have the You Will Miss Me When I'm Gone award because you can't keep every player. Some of them end up leaving the team. And that one is going to Jerick McKinnon.
I knew it.
I
knew it.
We have discussed before. I don't think we can keep all of the running backs. I just think that McKinnon is going to go elsewhere, and he's a damn good player. And but I'll be excited.
The Vikings can pick Adrian Peterson back up then.
They sure can.
Yeah,
because
that's amazing. Yeah,
because
so
he is not going to be a Cardinal.
Yeah, and Peterson wants to play for 4 or 5 more years, like Fire Breather says in the chat. So as long as he's willing to sit behind Dalvin Cook,
I've got the crystal ball of the future for this year. Kirk Cousins goes to Denver, and former Vikings running back Jerick McKinnon goes there too.
Ooh.
Calling it.
I don't see Denver needing that running game, but you never know. You never know.
We'll see. I'm just making crazy assumptions today.
This is a bullshit episode.
Hey, you gotta have fun.
And then my last one is the Chris Tomlinson Award. This goes to the media for continually asking Mike Zimmer for injury updates on players when they know damn good and well he's not going to give them an injury update. So why are you asking him the status of a player when we all know you're not going to get it? Please stop doing that. That's not.
Is this guy going to start? Give us an injury update. How's the concussion protocol coming along?
On a Monday.
I'm pretty sure I just covered this, right? Did I not just say this? I love it so much. You got to have that enabler to get good content out of Mike Zimmer. So maybe we secretly need Chris Tomlinson around.
Maybe.
It's possible.
I have 3, and I just wanted to throw these out there because these were fun, and I'm going to take a shot at your boy Chris Thompson at the end too.
Oh, come on, guys!
I love it.
I can't stand him, but it ties in with something else. You guys are going to love this. Celebration of the year, Thanksgiving dinner. I watched it, and I rewatched it because I like some people like the duck, duck, gray goose thing and whatever, but we did it on Thanksgiving in Detroit, and it was just nothing but booze from all the Detroit fans.
I'll take the leapfrog over Thanksgiving dinner.
We were kicking the shit out of them, and they were so angry that we celebrated. It was like 10 seconds because Stephon Diggs forgot to grab the ball and be the turkey. So that was my favorite celebration of the year. The best Mike Zimmer sound was after LA going into Detroit. I forget who we beat the week before. It was on that big, nice win streak we had. But it was going into the short week for Thanksgiving. And it says, I like Case Keenum because he's got big balls.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
I listened to it like 30 times. Like, he shouldn't have said it that way, but God, it's so funny, and I'm kind of glad he did. Best sound I've heard in a long time. And I have a poll question as my final one that I would like to throw up on there. Who is more cringeworthy, Chris Thomason or Mike Wobschall? Because they're both pretty.
Ooh.
Oh, Wobby's got a lot of fans out there.
I like
Wobby.
But Wobby.
I've never
Wobby's
seen
good
a
at his
more
job.
generic and predictable and dry and bland and never give you any answers.
Wobby never rocks the boat.
Yeah,
That's
he is the
because-
most uninteresting man in sports entertainment. I am so sorry.
He does a great job of talking and talking and talking and not giving anything away and
so
saying
bad.
nothing as far as an opinion. That is a major skill that people need to have these days because it's amazing.
He's
In
Russell
his
Wilson.
defense-
He's the Russell Wilson of reporters. It's terrible.
Hey, guys,
it's very boring.
In his defense, he works for the Minnesota Vikings. He can't really have an opinion on the team because he's on their payroll.
Dude, that's
Like,
not true.
it's-
Paul Allen
it's-
says every year we're going to go undefeated.
Yeah, but that's Paul Allen. That's part of his shtick. I don't know. Wobby is like, it's his duty to kind of do PR for the
I
team
can't.
in a
I
weird
want
sort
to
of
put
way.
that as a poll too. Is Mike Wobschall the human form of NyQuil? Because every time I watch what he's saying, I just fall asleep because I know he's not going to say anything interesting or anything like, I can't go too bold here. He is the equivalent version of strapping in your seatbelt and doing 500 the speed limit. I can't. I can't do it.
I admit that I've gotten a lot of the national broadcasts, and like Scott Schwab says in the chat, Joe Buck does deserve to be the most improved telecast announcer. I realize that I don't hate Buck as much as I thought I did. It definitely is Troy Aikman.
Yeah, it's Troy Aikman. That's across the board. I'll tell you who I like, and I didn't mind. I didn't think I liked before, but I listened to the hype. I don't mind Chris Collinsworth either. It's still Troy Aikman number one for me. Just like
As long as you drink every time you say this is a guy with Chris Collinsworth.
Here's a guy.
He's a guy that does this and does all that. But, the Purple People Podcast host of the year this year is Mr. Kyle Smith. So congratulations, Kyle Smith. This is another year running that I did not win the award.
host of the year.
Yeah.
From who?
From the Purple People Podcast.
Who voted on this? This is baloney.
Because I didn't win, and Mr. West won it last year. I'm telling you, there's something rigged here where I never win this award. I
don't understand. Adam's like the paid writer. That's got to give him.
Maybe one of these years I'll get it, but again, it's slipped through the cracks.
Was this voted on by the listeners?
No.
Oh, okay, good. I was about to say that's super biased. I don't want.
Hey, if you guys want to put it to a vote, we can see. I bet you'll still win because you are the most handsome and well-educated of us all.
I don't think I'm the most educated or well-educated. See, most educated, well-educated. It's potato, whatever.
Government education.
You should see how Mr. West acted when he got it the year before. He was shocked.
I don't even remember. That's how shocked I was.
I believe you won, 3 years in a row before this?
I think so, probably. That seems
Yeah,
like a run.
I'm 0-5, I think.
I demand a recount.
But I do want to reiterate that we did the Podcast Survival League and finished up. We do have the prizes ready to be sent out, so those will be sent out real soon, and I'll send a notification over to the winner telling them when it's on the way. We will be doing it again next year because I had a lot of fun. And I hope to see a lot more folks.
Hold on. Are you going to post a photo with a prize package after the person receives it? I
was telling you guys about one other thing I was going to put in there, but now I don't know if I should. Just because it's big and it would cost me more to ship.
Oh.
I'm going to help you out with that tomorrow. Actually, technically, in 3 hours at midnight, I'll send it to you.
But yeah, I'm excited about next year's Survival League, and I love that you guys join us and just absolutely enjoy playing along, interacting with us. And even though it's something small that we can do for you guys, I'm glad that we can, because it's fun. That, and I'm really bad at survival football. I'm bad.
I want to get in on it, but I realize if you're doing bad at it, I probably shouldn't even try.
But it's so much fun. If nothing, you'll last 3 weeks. My buddy, I'll leave his name nameless. He joined because he thought it was going to be a lot of fun, and he was out in week 4. He got 3 strikes in 4 weeks, and that's not good.
That's no fun. We should call people out.
His wife lasted till like week 13.
No, you definitely should call him out.
I think people who are listening who know me have got it all figured out as to who I'm talking about here.
That's so funny.
But let's see. I don't think Kyle West is going to do the 5 sexiest Vikings coaches.
Probably not.
So we'll skip that on the list. Kyle Smith gave his bold statement already. And so what we're going to do is we're going to continue to do everything that we do during the regular season. We're going to be putting some stuff up on Facebook. We're going to be interacting with you guys, and hopefully we can do another social media question. I don't believe we ended up doing anything on social media this week, right?
No, I believe we covered it last week for
the defensive MVP.
Defensive MVP, but yes.
All right, so we'll come up with something fun and witty and all that kind of stuff for you guys for our social media question.
That would be. We've never done a social media poll before.
Maybe we'll do something in addition to our who should be the host of the year, where Mr. Smith's going to win in a landslide.
Yeah, we can just not do that one. That'd be all right. I'm flattered. Thank you.
But I do want to thank everyone for listening. Remember, you can check us out on so many platforms: iTunes, PodOMatic, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Player FM, Spreaker, YouTube, Viking Age, everywhere that you find podcasts. You can probably find us.
A lot of places.
You can check out my work on the Viking Age, where there's a lot of cool speculation going on, and my partner working over there, Adam Patrick, is really doing some really big speculating and a lot of really good analysis. So check it out over there.
Work.
Yeah, he's not afraid to cross those lines. Like I like to stick to the facts and some of those feel good stories. He's out there doing the more scandalous and more controversial stuff, and to me, that's awesome, because that works out real well. The Walking Dead starts back up at the end of this month. Season 8 is going to be making its big comeback. So if you're a fan of The Walking Dead, check out Undead Walking. There's apps for both the Viking Age and Undead Walking. And if you're a regular listener of the podcast, you can download the Viking Age app. You'll get all the Vikings news as well as notifications for when the podcast goes up on the Viking Age. So you can double up that way if you like. I believe Mr. West has a place where you can listen to him talk about movies and stuff.
You sure do. You can find me on the Shut Up, I Like This Movie podcast. That's over on... Look that up on Facebook and you'll see the links to it. There is a link to the actual description of the website down below. Otherwise, I have my own website, attackoftheblog.net, where I do a lot of writing. I've been doing a lot of movie reviews. Got one up for Star Wars. Got some Harry Potter stuff up there right now.
You got to do some movies I've seen, man.
Well, I just write about what I watch.
Because I haven't seen any of the new Star Wars movies. I've never seen a Harry Potter.
I've never seen a Harry Potter either.
So, yeah, you got to do some more movies that I've seen.
Actually, I haven't seen Star Wars either. You guys can tell me I suck and send us a message to the page.
I've seen the first 7 Star Wars movies, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to thank Scott Schwab, Fire Breather. I believe we had Eric Spencer and others that joined us in the chat here. I'm just kind of scrolling through saying the names that I see. it's always nice to have you interacting with us, and it's so much fun to have you guys chiming in, giving your opinions, your thoughts on everything that we're talking about. It's that kind of interactive nature here live on YouTube that makes it so much fun. And if you are listening to a recorded version on iTunes or whatever, be sure to come and hang out with us sometime on YouTube Live, because it's always a lot of fun. I'd like to thank everyone again for checking us out, and stay classy, Minnesota.